Now that I have my idea, and hopefully you have an idea as well, we're going to actually start making it. So we're going to make it in SVG. SVG is a graphics format. It's a graphics format that can work with software, but you can also type the code directly. So that's an interesting option. Learning that can be fairly complex, but a piece like Mondrian, while it can be very challenging to do in real life, doing it digitally isn't as hard as long as you don't mind harsh edges and some of the things that aren't 100% accurate to, a real painting. SVG works with geometric principles, and so as we create the code, we're going to be working with these geometric shapes to define what they are and where they go, and that's how we create the image. It's not too hard depending on what you're trying to create. Depending on what you're trying to create, it can be very difficult. But for something like this, something geometric, it works very well and can be pretty simple. So just a basic SVG search on Google, you can find lots of different things. The Mozilla site has a lot of information, but for people that are new to it, I think the W3 School site is a bit better, although I'm not the biggest fan of W3 Schools. So if I click here, we have this section on the left that has different tutorials, shows you how to do different things. When we are on W3 Schools, they do have these nice little code blocks with try it yourself options. The main things that we're going to play with are rectangles and lines. Don't worry about this right now because I will show you and walk you through as I'm creating mine, but I'm just kind of showing you that you can find these resources to help you. If I click try it yourself, this is pretty cool. It opens up a live code editor and I can actually make changes here and I can tell it to run and it will make changes. There are some options up here, but not a whole lot. There is a save feature here, and if I do this I can tell it to save and it'll give me a URL for this. My only issue with this, like we could use this to create our whole piece, my only issue with this is then I have to remember how to get here, and I can't just have an account with a bunch of things that I created. So instead of W3 Schools, I'm going to use Replit. So Replit is an online code editor. It offers a ton of different features. It also offers quite a variety of languages. And somewhere down here, it won't say SVG. It'll say HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. SVG is a graphics language that works on the web, and so it works with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, which are used to build web pages. So this is what I can use to write SVG on Replit. Now, instead of going to Replit and trying to find this link, I could also just Google Replit HTML, and that will also bring it up. And I can click, and now we have an editor. This is a bit more complicated than the other one, but overall what I'm looking at and what I'm looking for is this code section and this preview section, this display section. So I'm going to shrink this over, and can I shrink it over more? No, I guess not. And I'm going to shrink this down, and these are really the two main things that I want. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this SVG tag. Instead of writing it myself, I'll just grab theirs. I'll copy it, so Command-C on a Mac, Control-C on a PC or a Chromebook. I'm going to paste it right here inside of the body section of this HTML page. I'm going to replace this or delete that because I don't need the JavaScript. And there we go. And if I run this, it shows the very same thing that was on the other page. So I'm going to work here. Now the reason why I'm going to work here, not that it's really better as far as the editor and the display goes. That's not relevant to me. The relevant part to me is that I can do sign up or log in, and I can log in my Google account. And now if I save it and I go to my account and I go to my repls, I've got this thing that I just made. Now this is not a good file name. It just gives you random file names, right? So I can edit this and call this my digital Mondrian, something like that. Alright, go back to it. Here we are. Okay. So what I'm looking at, I don't really care about this. I can go ahead and delete that. All that I really need to mess with, all I need to really worry about is this stuff right here. This is my SVG. Shrink that again, shrink this again. Let me make it a little bit larger so you can see what I'm doing. Alright, better. This here is what I'm working on.